Behaviour of women has been considered a mystery, particularly by the opposite sex, for years, with accusations of witchcraft, claims of supernatural possession, and diagnoses of hysteria rife throughout history. It's clear that the experiences of the female population were treated as perplexing phenomena for a great deal of time. However, it can all be explained by biology. To celebrate Women's History Month, we've baked a cake to explain the effect of the menstrual cycle and the hormonal fluctuations within it on the behaviour of women, which has been so recklessly misinterpreted through the ages. The top tier of our cake represents the beginning of the menstrual cycle, the menstrual phase. Taking place for roughly 3 to 7 days, low levels of estrogen and progesterone trigger the shedding of the uterine lining, i.e. the period. The time of bleeding is represented in edible form by raspberry jam. Our use of coffee flavouring in the sponge highlights the fatigue often experienced due to decreased iron levels caused by blood loss, as well as representing the bitter mood often caused by decreased serotonin levels during this phase. We added also more than just a pinch of salt to our batter to pay tribute to the electrolytes in the many tears often shed during menstruation, when estrogen and serotonin are in limited supply. However, the addition of cocoa to the sponge shows the positive effects of consuming dark chocolate at the time. Rich in copper and other minerals, endorphin production could be increased by the treat, boosting mood and potentially causing an analgesic response to help manage symptoms. The next layer is the follicular phase, where follicle-stimulating hormone is released by the pituitary gland in the brain. This triggers the maturing of an egg cell in a follicle by the ovaries. This actually begins during the menstrual phase, lasting until ovulation takes place. We made this layer a dewy green colour and used lemon curd in between layers to represent fresh, vibrant and dewy feeling often caused by increased estrogen levels. This is demonstrated again by our use of lemon zest, adding a light and confident tone reminiscent of how you might feel during the follicular phase. Rising estrogen also increases collagen production, leading to plumper looking skin and increased recovery after exercise. Hence our addition of protein-rich poppy seeds to the sponge. The ovulation phase takes place roughly 14 days into the cycle, lasting for only a few days, and is the subject of our third tier. The surge in luteinizing hormone levels trigger the release of an egg cell from the ovary into the fallopian tube, as illustrated by the dense proportion of mini eggs in our sponge. We also added turmeric to our batter, a spice containing curcumin, which is widely believed to increase serotonin and dopamine levels, much like when you ovulate. This is due to the peak in estrogen right before ovulation takes place, reflected in the happy yellow colour of this layer. Confidence is at a peak when estrogen levels are this high, and, paired with a slight testosterone increase, gives a more overall spice for life. This is why we felt that, along with turmeric, ginger would make an excellent addition to this layer. Our final tier is dedicated to the days after ovulation, until your period starts again, the luteal phase. Progesterone levels increase, and your body prepares to build a nest for the fertilized egg to develop by thickening uterine lining. A decrease in progesterone levels is seen later on if the egg is left unfertilized. As estrogen levels gradually fall, you may start to feel a little blue, hence the intended color of the final tier. Serotonin and dopamine levels decrease, and many people experience premenstrual syndrome. PMS can cause extreme mood swings and heightened emotions, so we thought popping candy and fiery chili flavors would represent this perfectly. Meanwhile, we used Nutella between layers to show the cravings for carbohydrates and foods high in sugar caused by PMS. And then, as progesterone levels reduce, the whole cycle repeats itself once more. And that's the menstrual cycle, 28 days, give or take, of ever-fluctuating hormones, changes to your mood and your body every month, until the menopause. So perhaps, when a woman is talking passionately during a discussion, she isn't being too outspoken, she's ovulating and is feeling confident enough to speak up about issues that matter to her. Or, when a woman regularly experiences fainting, maybe she isn't in a state of demonic possession, she's struggling from anemia due to blood loss during menstruation. And, when a woman experiences uncontrollable crying or rage, she isn't hysterical, as medically termed throughout most of history. She's dealing with the effect of a cocktail of constantly changing hormones. So let's celebrate this Women's History Month by educating ourselves on the so-called mysterious behaviour of women, the lack of understanding of which has caused so much hardship and inequality throughout time, and acknowledge the role that the menstrual cycle plays in the lives of half of the world's population. Because it isn't really mysterious, it's just biology.